الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين. We've reached Surah Ali Imran, the third chapter of the Quran, and I want to look at a few verses that pertain to Ali Imran, the family of Imran. This chapter of the Quran is in reference to the family of Imran, and Imran was the father of Mary, and it pertains to the story of the father of Mary, Imran, the mother of Mary, Hannah, Maryam alayhi salam, Ibn Maryam, Jesus alayhi salam, Zakaria, and Yahya, who is the cousin of Isa alayhi salam. So these are the verses from 33 to 55 approximately, and there's many lessons that we can take from the story of Ali Imran. One of them is the effects of a righteous family, and that Allah says with regards to the family of Ali Imran, Inna Allah astafa Adama wa Nuhan wa ala Ibrahim wa ala Imran ala al-alamin dhurriyatan ba'duha min ba'd wallahu samiyun alim. Indeed, Allah has chosen Adam, Noah, the family of Abraham, and the family of Imran above all people of their time. They are descendants of one another, and Allah is all hearing, all knowing. But this being selected and this being chosen from Allah and this honor from Allah comes with worship and comes with ibadah and comes with devotion. And Allah says, addressing Maryam, وَإِذْ قَالَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةُ يَا مَرْيَمُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ اصْطَفَاكِ وَطَهَّرَكِ وَاصْطَفَاكِ عَلَى نِسَاءِ الْعَالَمِينَ. And the angels said to Mary, surely Allah has selected you, purified you, chosen you above all women of the world. And then what does Allah instruct? Ya Maryam uqnuti li rabbiki wasjudi warka'i ma'ar raki'in. That honor, that selection, that blessing from Allah goes hand in hand with being devout. Allah says, O Mary, be devout to your Lord, prostrate yourself in prayer, and bow along with those who bow down. Another wisdom or another lesson that we can take from Ali Imran is that it's a clarification for the world of who Isa is. This is the story of Isa, the son of Mary, and Allah tells us who Isa, the reality of who Isa really is. Another lesson that we can take is the power of intentions, because the story of Isa alayhi salam actually starts with not just his mother, but his grandmother. Is that Hannah, the wife of Imran, she made this intention where she said, إذ قالت امرأة عمران رب إني نذرت لك ما في بطني محررا فتقبل مني إنك أنت السميع العليم. She made this intention when she was pregnant. She said, my Lord, I dedicate what is in my womb entirely to your service. So accept it from me. You alone are truly all-hearing, all-knowing. So we can look at the whole story of Isa alayhi salam from the intentions of his grandmother, and that Allah accepted that vow that she made, and He blessed Mary, and He blessed Jesus, the son of Mary. I want to look at a linguistic subtlety in the Quran. And the Quran is filled with these linguistic subtleties where Allah chooses one word over another word for a purpose and for wisdom. And both Zakaria and Maryam were given glad tidings, miraculous glad tidings of having offspring. And it's mentioned that Zakaria, when he entered upon Maryam, and he saw the miracle that Allah blessed Maryam with, that she was eating fruits that were out of season and no one brought those fruits to her. It was a miracle. He made dua then. And that shows you that, the places of the awliya and the places of the righteous people, is that that's a place where dua is accepted. Because he made dua, even though he was elder in age, he made dua that Allah bless him with offspring, and Allah granted him that dua, that request. So Zakaria said, he exclaimed, قَالَ يَا رَبِّي أَنَّا يَكُونُ لِي غُلَامٌ وَقَدْ بَلَغَنِي الْكِبَرُ وَامْرَأَتِي عَاقِرٌ قَالَ كَذَلِكَ اللَّهُ يَفْعَلُ مَا يَشَاءُ. Zakaria exclaimed, my Lord, after he's been told, he's been giving these glad tidings, how can I have a son when I am very old and my wife is barren? He replied, so it will be, Allah does what He wills. When Allah gave the glad tidings to Maryam, the wording is a little bit different. So Maryam says, قالت رب أن يكون لي ولد ولم يمسسني بشر قال كذلك الله يخلق ما يشاء إذا قضى أمرا فإنما يقول له كن فيكون. Mary wondered, my Lord, how can I have a child? So with Zakaria, he said, how can I have a son? But the word is with Maryam, how can I have a child? when no man has touched me. The angel said, so it will be, and Allah creates what He wills. With Zakaria it says Allah does what He wills, but with Maryam it says Allah creates what He wills. So there's two differences of wording. Zakaria said son, and Maryam said walad, ghulam and walad, and then yaf'alu ma yasha, yakhluqu ma yasha. So why does Allah say with Zakaria, how can I have a son? And then with Maryam, how can I have a child? And why does Allah say Allah does what He wills with Zakaria, but He says Allah creates what He wills with Mary? Is that the answer is that Zakaria in this verse was given the specific good news of Yahya. So Yahya is mentioned in the verse in which Zakaria is given the glad tidings, and Yahya is a son. So thus the specific mention of Yahya goes hand in hand with the specific mention of a son, a ghulam. Whereas Maryam, she was given general glad tidings of a kalima minhu, of a word from Allah. And kalima minhu is general. Anything that Allah wills to be is a word from Allah, kalima minhu. Thus, Allah chose the word walad with His general. So the general glad tiding goes with the general word of walad, and walad can be a male or female. It can also be singular or plural. So ghulam with Yahya, specific for specific, and walad for Maryam, general for general. As for the response that Allah says that He does Allah does what He wills with Zakaria, is that doing is easier than creating. In other words, anyone can say, I did so and so, I did this, I didn't do this, but they can't say, I created something. And Yahya, despite the fact that it's a miraculous birth, he comes from two parents, right? And that's easier, right? So Allah does what He wants. That's an easier way of expressing this miraculous birth, because Allah does what He wants. It's easier. Whereas Jesus alayhi salam is that He was conceived it was just from Maryam alayhi salam. Therefore Allah says yakhluqu, because that is more specific, and that is something that is even more miraculous. So therefore Allah said yaf'alu for Zakaria, because that's with the means of, people are conceived with two parents. Allah does what He wills. And then with Isa, it's Maryam alone. Thus Allah says that He creates what He wills. So these are some of the subtleties, the linguistic subtleties of the Quran, and that the more knowledge that we have, the more we can appreciate not just the chapters of the Quran, not just the verses of the Quran, but actually the words of the Quran, and maybe even the letters of the Quran as well. So we ask Allah that He give us understanding, and that He give us beneficial knowledge. Wa akhir da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.